All right, so today we're going to be doing Unit 2, Module 2, Session 5. Some of our goals. So you're going to build on the work we did previously. We're going to review a little bit, and then we're going to look about multiples of 10. And then then we're going to take a quick, short checkpoint. Remember, that's just to see how you're doing, and if I have to cover anything again, or if everybody's getting everything. And then you got some practice in your student workbook you could do. All right, so let's start it off. So those are some of my objectives for today. All right, so when we look at this ratio table for six, if you had one, you have six, you have two, you have 12. So I want you to take a look at this for a second, this ratio table. And it goes on. Look at it. It keeps going on. 318. So 1 times 6, 2 times 6, 3 times 6, all the way across. These are very helpful ratio tables. This one's pretty detailed too. It keeps going. So are all the multiples of 6 listed on this ratio table even or odd? So these would be the multiples, right? Because 1, 6, 2, 6, keep going up. So are they even or odd? Remember, even Steven, he is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Or is he odd Todd? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Okay, so think about that for a second. Look at the ending. Is it even Steven or odd Todd? All right, you should have recognized that all these are even at the end. So anything, for a multiple of 6 will be even. Now, let's also look at this. Let's look at the yellow for a second. This one right here. 1, 6. Then look at the yellow here. 1, 6. 1 times 6 is 6. 10 times 6 is 60. 2 times 6 is 12. 20 times 6 is 120. 3 times 6 is 18. 30 is 180. So if you should notice on that, it's just by multiplying by 10, all you do is you look at that answer and you just move it over one placeholder and put that 0 here. So if I have my 6 here and I multiply it by 10, that's a times 10. This one has to be by times 10. Okay, so really all I'm doing is moving it over one placeholder. If we're moving it from the ones to the tens, and then that's just putting that 0 placeholder here. So again, 2 times 12, 20. Now all we're doing is we're multiplying it by 10 again. So you have that 12. The 12 will be in the ones and the tens and the ones. And when you multiply it over, you just move it over one and then put that 0 here. That 0 right here is a placeholder. All right. One other concept we're going to be talking about again is that parentheses can show different ways we can be grouping them if we break things up. So if we had 6 times 20, 6 rows of 20, we don't have we could just break that up in this 6 rows of 2. So it's 6 rows of 2 here, and then times 10. We just got 10 of them. So here would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I could write this out that 6 times 20 is the same thing as saying 6 times 2, right here, 6 times 2, and we just do 10 of them times 10. So we can break that up into things we know and then just multiply it out. So this would be your 12, and then we'd rewrite it and we'd say, let's give me a pen here. So this would be 12 times 10 then, because we always do the parentheses first. And then again, we know that this 12 times 10 is really are going to be moving that 12 over. So it's just going to be 120. So we're taking that 12 that was here and moving it over one because you're multiplying it by 10. All right. This is called the associative property of multiplication. That's a big word. Most people don't remember it. Even adults won't remember it, unless you're really into math. But really, what it means is simply that you can be, no matter how you break it up, it still remains the same. So the property in which the product remains unchanged. So the product, the answer, remains unchanged no matter how you break it up into here. So again, I could have done something like this, like we've been doing. We could be just sitting and saying, all right, how could we 6 times 20? That's like saying 6 times 2 times 10, because this is like saying 2 times 10, and this is 6. So we could say this is like 6 times 2 times 10. But that didn't change anything, because this is still 12 times 10, which equals 120. And this again is the same thing. So it's just kind of like a scale here. Whatever's on this side has to equal what's on this side, and they do. I could have broke this up into 6 times 10 times 2. No matter how I arrange it with multiplication here, it's always going to remain the same answer. That's called the associative property of multiplication. All right, so let's look at this one. A little practice here. So if I have 13 times 20, so a good way to look at that is just to say, hey, let's just break that into first 13 times 2. So it's like 13 times 2 first. 13 times 2. That's right here, this group. And then we have 10 of them. So, So we could first do 13 times 2. That's a pretty easy fact. So 13 times 2. And then we just multiply it back by 10. So again, we're breaking this up into things we know. So this is 2 times 10. So that's 13 times 2 times 10. First we do this, 26. Then we relist it. And then we sit there and say, anything times 10 is just moving it over 1. So that would be 260. If I had to do a picture like that, I could have just divided that up just like this and just say 13 times 20, broke it up into 13 times 2, and I did 10 of them, like all the way across. So let's see if you can do this. This one you're going to do, I'm going to give you a little time to try to figure it out. Use this strategy right here. So this one, and then I'll give you a time where you can pause the video. And why don't you just pause the video and then work on it, and then see if you got the right answer. I'll give you the exact answer. So this is 40 times 6. Remember, 40 can be broken down into 4 times 10, and then you just write it out. Okay, pause now. All right, so after your pause here, hopefully you figured it out. If not, that's okay. We're going to go over it. All right, so I would have taken this down and said this is 4 times 10. Remember that we can break this apart and it still remains the same, the associative property. So 4 times 10 times 6. All right, so what I would probably do is then I might even reorder this one and say, okay, because I can break that and put those parentheses anywhere, renumber these. I could say 4 times 6 times 10. And I just probably put the parentheses right here because that's a basic fact I should know by now in 4th grade. So 4 times 6, 24. Rewrite it. And then now here's back to my 10 facts, which you guys are getting pretty good at. You just move it over one, so that's 240. Some people will say just put the 0 on the end. But yeah, you're really, by putting the 0 on the end, you're shifting that 24 over into the tens and the hundreds placeholder. So this definitely is your answer. All right, we're going to try one more, or a couple more maybe. Oh, here's another one. So again, break this apart times 11 and figure it out. pause right here. Try it on your board. You don't have to show me your work, just pause, and then I'll come back and show you the right answer. All right, if you're back, I again would use that associative property and say, let's just break that apart into 5 times 10 times 11, right? Because anyway, as long as I'm breaking it apart with multiplication, it's going to remain the same. Now, I again would reorder this one because I know my 11 facts pretty easy because anything times, 5 times 11 is 55, 4 times 11 is 44. Those are always double. So I would have reordered this one again and just said, hey, I can change these around. That's the rule. 5 times 11 because I know my 11 facts. Those are really easy because it's doubled up. Like 2 times 11 is 22. 3 times 11 is 33. 4 times 11 is 44. 5 times 11, 55, right? So then we took this one same, but moved this one here. So we just moved that one over there times 10. Again, we're doing that 10 trick again. So this is 55 times 10. With the order of the 10, we just really just look at that and say, it's like, here's your 55, and we're moving it over one place, just with tens, though. So, or some people look at 1 times 55 is 55, and then you move it over. So here's your 55, right? And times 10, we just basically moved it over one and and put our 0 placeholder there. So 550 is our answer for this one. All right, so here comes your checkpoint. Now, you're going to be going onto your adding this onto your work right onto your Google slide. So I'm going to go into the Google slide. So again, here's your beginning. This is where the video is going to be, and then right here kind of gives you some tricks on things you can use if you want to show your work. We've been working on that. So even if it's just taking a picture from your Chromebook if you only have paper, or you might have your whiteboard or marker, that's fine. Remember how to take, if you have stuff on your screen with one of these apps and you want to just take a screenshot, it shows you how to do it. So here's your very first one. And we will, it's multiplying by tens and more checkpoint. So Mr. Brown has 14 girls, 10 boys in his class. Each girl has 10 pencils, and each boy has 13 pencils. So how many total pens and pencils does he have? Show your work. Okay, so put your answer here and your work here. Again, Mr. Brown has 14 girls, 10 boys. Each girl brought in 10 pencils. So you got to do these 10 this. Each boy brought in 13, and then you put them back together. Again, your answer is just going to be here, but I want to see that work. Fill in the bubble beside the equation that best represents this problem. P stands for. So one of these work, and just take this and move it to where the correct one. These are fill in the blanks. Again, you can use that. Think of those 0 tricks. You just click on each one to put your answer in. If for some reason you deleted it for some reason, you can hit the undo, or you can just put a new text box over it. Fill in the blank. Again, think of these as like scales, and remember how we divided these up. They're not looking for the answer, they're looking at how you divided that 20 up. And then again here they're looking at which one's missing if you did that associative property. And an area of a rectangle, remember, area is base times height. That's all the inside stuff. List all possible dimensions, even this simple one. This is going to help you with your rainbow if you do your rainbow factors and say, what times we have to get 20? All the dimensions you can draw out. Now here you can use those apps too, is pretty nice. When you're all done, remember to submit it to me so I can look at it. All right, good job. If you have any struggles, you can add another page onto here by just saying plus and put a blank one on there if you want, and then or you can do plus a page, insert a text box right here and start typing to me. Okay, what you like or what you were struggling still on, and I'll go over it again with you. So, all right, thanks. I hope this made sense.